16 in the Bronx, running up and down the block. A crazy little girl.
Jennifer Lopez is on a tear, and I just wanted to kind of go through the events that have led us up until this point. The main thing that kind of started this, obviously with everything kind of piling on, the main thing is I saw this TikTok video of this guy kind of going through the things that she, you know, the specific parts in the doc, and he just detailed kind of the big things that were really outgoing and noticeable in that was kind of, you know, insane. The first one, the one that was huge out of this, was obviously her asking everybody and their mother if they could be in this doc, and you know, them not agreeing to do it.
Taylor Swift is a no.
Jason Momoa's not available, Jennifer Coolidge not available, Lizzo not available.
So he's doing Succession 2 and The Lion King and Star Wars Andor 2, so he's not necessarily available. He's not available, but he loves you.
Do you want Vanessa Hudgens, by the way? I was thinking about that. One of the
She's
friends.
not available.
Oh, never mind. It'd be good to get Bad Bunny to do a little cameo as the bad kid.
Oh, The Wrong Again? That would be good.
Question becomes, if Trevor's there, do you want James Corden too, or is okay, right?
Ariana Grande's unavailable. She's in London until September. Snoop's not available, unfortunately.
I don't want to force anybody to do this who doesn't go, this is going to be fun. Nobody wants to say no to me, Benny. I get that. But when an actor doesn't like a script or doesn't think it's good enough or is worried about it, that's what they'll say. I know that. I've done it.
And it was insane. That one, that they kept that footage in there, but yeah, the main thing that they kept that footage in there, I'm very confused why they did that. It makes her look bad. I also saw a TikTok that was just like, that was on that shoot or something like that, was talking about their experience, and that it was an interesting time. Feels like her relationships to other celebrities is fickle. The one part that was really insane that she did was, somebody had a wedding, so they couldn't do the movie because of the wedding, and she just wasn't about it.
I know Val was available, but I want you to call Derek. And we need him for like 1 or 2 days.
It's a wedding, Dave. He's in a wedding. It's a wedding. He's not going to give up his wedding. I mean,
whose wedding?
I can talk to Benny. It's a wedding he's in. He can't, unfortunately, it's where it's landing.
I want you to call him.
Okay.
This scene is absolutely insane, and like, that was just one thing that was in that. That was just one thing. Side note, before I jumping into the next one, I wonder if she has to see this stuff, right? Like, she has to see these videos. She has to see these things that people are kind of making fun of, right? Like, this isn't right, like, because it's just so out there everywhere, from Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. It is everywhere. So like, she has to see this. Besides that, there was another part where she's kind of demeaning, I don't know if it was her mom or something, but like somebody important to her, like, you know, helping them, you know, start working out, and then JLo's just over there not caring.
So at this point, I feel like we're gonna get some comic relief from the movie. You know, her best friend hates exercising.
This is as close as I'll ever get to this exercise equipment.
And she's like, oh, I'll never use this machine. And I think that, you know, Jenny's gonna like help her get into the machine. She's gonna try it. Maybe she'll fall out of it, and there'll be this cute little exchange. Instead, Jenny goads her into it. She does the exercise for her, but then goes across the room and has the assistant actually physically help her to get into the machine. And then when she finally starts doing it, Jenny could not care less.
Wow, this was so fun. Thank you.
A lot of this feels like it over dramatizing everything and over dramatizing. Obviously some things are legit, of course, but like, it seems like it's overly dramatic for no reason, and that's obviously put people off. And I can see why, because like, why are you doing that? And that leads me into her relationship with Ben Affleck, and how it is shown in the doc with Ben's literal words that he uses. In there, he feels just like exhausted by her. Like, the big thing, and I saw a TikTok of this, of course, Ben Affleck made like a little romantic journal thing for a poem book, essentially, for JLo. She proceeds to give everybody her team, people on the band or whatever that were in part of this creative process with her, she proceeds to give them the poem book as well for them to read too. So these are personal things that Ben is writing to JLo, and she's giving that to everybody. She's allowing everybody to read that. That's just like, it's uncomfortable.
And then I went down there, and my book that I had given her was down there. She was like, I've been reading, and this is the kind of inspiration I've been showing them the book. I was like, you've been showing all the musicians all those letters that, and they were like, yeah, we call you Penn Affleck. And I was like, oh my God. I did really find the beauty and the poetry and the irony in the fact that it's the greatest love story never told. And if you're making a record about it, that seems kind of like telling it.
Well, and you see his visible frustration with her doing that. Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't understand your thought process. For her, it's all about the content. It's all about the stuff that she's working towards to get to. And it's clear. That just shows the type of person that she kind of is and how she thinks about, him, the things he gives her. No, nothing's kind of off limits for her to use as a muse in that type of way. And that's kind of gross and uncomfortable. Like Halftime was kind of just like gross in that aspect, and that's piling on. That's on, and she put that out. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's on top of everything else as well. The doc feels like part one of her kind of rollout with music and everything that she's trying to do. Part two was the movie This Is Me. I wrote some notes on it, and it wasn't good. It wasn't the best. It's funny, all of those celebrities that she was complaining about that wouldn't show up to her Halftime doc were in this movie. Like, it was Post Malone, it was Neil deGrasse Tyson. There was a lot of people in there. So like, it eventually got all of those celebrities, but I don't know, what she had to do to get them. This movie essentially just portrayed her love story up until the point of where she is, pretty much, but just in a musical, songy fashion. And that turned out to be a spectacular event if you watched it. It was just a lot. I got through, 20 minutes of it, and just, it was something. I found a TikTok that really just gives you a good idea of what this is about and a good feel of what you're getting into for this particular movie.
JLo works in a heart factory, but they don't make hearts at this factory. It's just a factory with one big heart inside. If you're confused, buckle up. The heart starts malfunctioning and it's about to explode and like everyone's about to die. So they just do choreography as we do in an emergency. JLo goes in to save the heart, but they're still dancing. Like, no one is doing their jobs. They're just dancing. No wonder why this factory is falling apart. As JLo is going through all of these breakups, the zodiac signs are watching her from above. And the zodiac signs are all different celebrities. So after multiple failed marriages, JLo is diagnosed with love addiction. So she goes to a Love Addicts Anonymous meeting and tells her whole life story. In the end, she finds love, so she feeds petals to the heart to fix it. But then the heart just produces petals, so it eats and produces petals. It's a very confusing cardiovascular system, and there they are dancing again.
So yeah, after kind of seeing that's what that movie really does the whole way. If you like musicals, I still think you would have trouble getting through this one. But it wasn't good. It wasn't it. It just was not a party that you wanted to be a part of. But definitely, go check it out if you're so inclined for that type of thing. There's a ton of reviews on it as well. They all seem confused. Nobody really knew where to place it or how to place it. So I'm glad that people who saw it felt the same way in this confusion that we all have. After kind of, digesting all of this JLo content, I feel the same way. I've always been confused by JLo in her. Anytime you hear anything, it feels forced as well. Like, we didn't ask to hear about her life, but we are just being forced down our throats with her life and her relationships and all that stuff. Kind of has the tinge of Jennifer Aniston, but just in the music sense. And JLo seems to be all over the place. I'm just left thinking, why?